Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We got some eye-catching ones for you today. We got three little blurb modules there with sort of blurred out backgrounds. When we hover over them, the text is going to disappear and the image is going to become clear. When we take it off, it's going to blur back out again. Really nice little effect. It's going to get people's attention really quickly if they roll around your site and that sort of thing happens. Plus, being interactive, it's another great thing to have on your site. Really easy to do, so let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's roll down on where we want to work. I've just used Blurb modules for this today. It'll work with any module you want. Let's get rid of this row. We'll start from scratch. I'm going to hit the little green button to add a new row. Put however many you want in your row, column-wise there. Like I say, I'm going to use a little blurb module for mine today. Obviously, you want to put your title in there. Whatever content you want in here. I'm going to have an icon rather than an image because I'm going to use the background as the image for this today. So I'm going to hit the little use icon switch. And then just go down, grab whatever icon it is you want to use. I'm going to close that out now. I'm going to make my text white, but still in design. If we go down to text, we can do it all heading and paragraph text by going in here and changing that from light to dark. Or of course you can go to either by either clicking on the little pencil beside them here. Or if I close this up, you've got title text there, body text there. You can change them both. I also want this to be in the middle, so let's put it in the middle. Fantastic. Now my little icon there, let's make that white in color too. And if you want to change the size or put it on the left, you can do so right there. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, if you've seen any of my hover effects videos, you're going to know what I'm going to need next. I'm going to go into the row here, green tab for the row. I'm going to go into the column. We're in column 1 here. Background's always under content. I'm going to add an image to that background there. Third tab along is image. Background's always under content. We'll throw in the image we want. There it is in the back there. Now I'd like to give this a bit of padding all around perhaps. And then I want to blur out that image somewhat because it's not really easy to read that writing. So we're in our column at the moment. Let's save that little green button here. That's going to take us back to the main row. I'm going to do 3 of these. So while I'm in here, I may as well put images in the background of these columns too. Back down the background, we'll just add another image. You won't see anything in these because there's no content. Same again, we'll save that. We'll do the third column also. Perfect. Now we can save this back to the main row again. Save the main row settings. Let's go into this and make it the way we want it. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to give it maybe 20 pixels padding all around just so it's got some breathing space there. Over to design. Down to spacing. Padding. We'll put 20 in there. It'll put in the pixels for you unless you want to use a different measurement. Just write in what you want. Hit the chain, it does the opposite side. We'll do the same for left and right. Hit the chain again. Perfect. Well, that's right, but again, we can't really read that. Now, there's several things we could do. We could put a background in here. I was perhaps put a black background in there. Left click on the field, pull the opacity down. Yeah, you can read it better like that by putting the opacity down, but it's not what I want. I want it to be blurred out so you can read that writing. Then I want the writing to disappear when they hover on it. So let's get rid of this color here. And you may be thinking, well, they've got a blur filter in design, but that's going to blur out the writing too. If we go down to design and filters down here, you'll find a blur filter. But if I pull that up, it's going to blur the writing in the icon too, which is not what we want. I mean, that's a pretty cool effect, but that's not what I'm after today. So we've got to make our own little effect up, and it's really easy. So still in our blurb, Let's go over to our advanced settings. Could go down to custom CSS. I'm going to click on the module elements tab up here. I'm going to go down to the main element right here, main element. And we're going to write out a little bit of CSS. I'm going to use something that they call a backdrop filter. It may throw up a flag, but I've checked it on all kind of different browsers and it seems to work perfectly. And that's backdrop, BACKDROP, dash filter, FILTER, colon. Well, we're going to use blur for ours today, BLUR, and put some round brackets right at the end with no gaps. I'm going to make it blur by about 8 to 10 pixels, but that's entirely up to you. The higher the value, the more the blur. Now there's that flag I was telling you about, unknown property. I've checked it on Brave, Firefox. This is Chrome. I've checked it on Edge. It seems to work perfectly. So let's put in 8 pixels, 8px. As you can see, that's blurred that out nicely. Still that same image, but we can read that text right there. Now, if you want it less blurred, put a smaller number in. If I make that perhaps 4. You can see it. Yeah, you can read that still, but I like it so you can see it a lot clearer. If you want it even more blurred, obviously put in a higher number. Let's put 15 in there. And it's extremely blurred. I'm going to roll back with my 8 pixels. That seemed to work for me. Obviously adjust to taste. Great. Then when they hover over it, I want it to become sharp. We can select our bit of code that we've just written there. Control C to copy. If we go up above here, like every other module, it's got some little icons. If they're not there, just roll over the dark writing and they'll appear. We're going to go to the little arrow. You got a desktop, which the mouse is not on it. And we've got to hover, obviously, when the mouse is on it. Let's click on that tab. Make sure you click on that tab. We'll paste that bit of code in there. But I'm going to change that 8 to a 0. You could probably just have a 0 in there without the pix. As you can see, this is now sharp. I take it back to desktop. It's blurred. Now, if I leave it like that, it's going to do that absolutely instantly. I want it to sort of fade gradually. So I'll give it a transition duration. So we're back in the desktop here. I'm going to put a semicolon there. Always put a semicolon if we want to write another line of code. On the desktop here, I'm going to say transition, dash duration, colon. I'm going to make mine perhaps 3/4 of a second, 0.75s. Perfect. Now when we switch, it'll be a little more graceful. Now, the other thing I want to do is have it disappear on hover. So let's go back to our hover tab. Again, I'm going to put a little semicolon there. To get it to disappear, I can just use opacity, OPACITY, colon 0, which will be invisible. And it'll disappear. And we've got our nice little sharp picture there. Perfect. So on hover, we'll have this, just a nice image. When they haven't got their mouse on it, we'll have the blurred image in the background with that readable text on top. Now, once we've got one, couldn't be easier to duplicate. Remember, we've already put images in these columns. Let's just duplicate this one. Drag it across. Doesn't matter which one you drag across, they're identical. There it is with our other image there. Obviously, you're going to want to go in, change out your text, icon, link if you've got a link going on there. Now, mine have all got the same amount of text in them. If you have different amounts of text, they're going to be different heights. Now, you can either keep it to the same amount of text by being creative, or you can go into the design, down to sizing, and give it a fixed height by going down to height, putting in whatever height you want there. And if you need to, you can roll up over the height. Go to the little mobile phone icon. You can set different heights for tablet and mobile. Great. Well, I'm happy with that one. So you guessed it. I'm going to clone it one more time. Drag one of them across. Again, like I say, they're identical. There it is with that other image. Okay, now I'll just change out that icon. That'll do fine. Great. Let's make sure this is going to work on the front end. I'm going to hit my little purple button. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's exit the Visual Builder. We are rolling down to where we were working. Here we go. There's our first one, blurred image, got the text going on there. When we roll over, it's going to disappear, sharp image. Like I say, you can add a link, and you can do this with pretty much any module you want. You can even morph 2 images if you want to. So there we have it, guys. Really simple but effective hover effect for you. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.